Hello there, and welcome to Thank the Maker, a podcast about heroes, princesses, scoundrels, hokey religions, ancient weapons, and all things Star Wars. I am your host, Mike Forster.
And I'm Jason Chiodo.
Hey, Jason, look at us tonight.
Can you believe it?
we are even beyond Skeleton Crew at this point. Adam is, I think, literally right now filming for the Story of the Year music video, and Nick is finishing his last few shows of the year with Bayside on the East Coast, hometown shows, and it's you and me here. And for people who haven't heard your voice that often, Jason is the producer of our show. He's behind the scenes helping us line up all these juicy details that we're always looking for, and a huge moderator of our Discord, Patreon, all those things. So Jason, we finally get to talk with you.
I know, I can't believe it. Yeah, usually back in the shadows, backstage, but out into the light, and the two of us are going to try to land this Razor Crest tonight solo. Let's see.
Let's see if we could do it. About it. I love everything about it. So for the news, of course, has been a lot, right? We'll get into that at some point, but I think for us, hearing that there was going to be a Mando Grogu trailer, was supposed to actually drop last week, according to a couple people, and then with all of this chaotic everything happening, as I twirl my fingers, it dropped on Monday, which is a weird time to drop trailers. And for Disney, it's usually like a Tuesday at 11, or it's a Thursday or something like that. So this was an interesting choice, but a surprise to be welcome, that's for sure. And it's fun. It's really fun. What was your first impression of it, Jason?
Yeah, man. I mean, a Mando Monday, as it were. So I guess it kind of makes sense, right? Yeah, I mean, it really feels good. I think that the kind of, whenever you take this, I mean, they're calling it a trailer. It kind of plays like a teaser. There's not any story beats in it. Just showing us some neat stuff. But it almost feels like the point of this project is to really get people feeling good about Star Wars.
That's great. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, right. And I mean, when you watch it, there's something in this for nearly every corner of the Star Wars fandom, as far as I can tell. I mean, like, just going down the line, you have OTTKs, creatures from the Dejaric table. That's all OT stuff. We saw on the poster and from the D23 stuff, that ATRT Scout Walker. Yeah, that's from the prequels, obviously, and Zellans from the sequels. We have Zeb from Rebels. Yeah. Some people might think there might be some Mantell mix in there from the Bad Batch.
That's true. True.
And maybe even finally, and maybe even finally our reference to Batu. In live action, we'll see. Yeah.
I think when it drops, of course, the excitement is there. But I agree with you. This felt more like a teaser. I felt like the fact that we got introduced to Sigourney Weaver's character, who's going by it's Colonel Ward, I believe, is what we're confirming, or Captain Ward. And that was a different title than what originally we thought her name was. But so Ward is here, but Ward doesn't say anything. And that's kind of when I was like, you know what, I think this is more of a, just kind of a, let's get it out there and make people also the transition coming off Andor, which 2 weeks ago was winning all these Emmys. Mm-hmm. I think that they really had to do something different to be like, hey, remember, Star Wars is really fun. It doesn't have to reflect every day that you're awake here in America.
It's true. Yeah. I feel like this film could possibly be like a greatest hits reel. It's going to be like a nice warm hug, welcoming people back to the theater, the traditional home of Star Wars. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think there was definitely a lot of remember berries in here. I think for the parts, of course, that I get frustrated about is that I want to know the story, right? I want to know who's the antagonist. I want to know how Mando was brought back into the New Republic. I think we're all asking how the heck he got new to him, almost new Razor Crest style ship. And then, of course, he's got his pulse, the Amban pulse rifle is back. So it's asking a lot of questions to be like, oh man, they didn't, we more so just saw a bunch of great looking pieces without any real context, assuming that there's going to be a bounty. Din Djarin is again at the higher of the New Republic. But for what, we don't know. But then we see him in kind of that underground fight club with Rod of the Hutt, played by Jeremy Allen White. So we have probably in some ways more questions than we do answers. But regardless, anytime we get new Star Wars, we're in.
Yeah. And we got 8 months to try to argue amongst ourselves to see who ends up being right about this.
So as someone who's done studio work, Jason, like,
Mhm.
would you say at this point, I mean, this movie is going to be a blockbuster. This is Marvel's summer movie. I think the only thing that's I think Doomsday got pushed back. Is that right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's correct. Yeah.
this upcoming summer, this past summer, between Jurassic Park, Superman, Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
was a very busy summer for and then you had, Alien, Earth was coming out. You have Predator, Badlands coming out next month.
Mm-hmm.
It's a busy year, right? And so next year, Mando Grogu is there, and I can't think of any other properties that are dropping big projects next summer.
There's going to be a big Spielberg film in the middle of the summer next year.
Sure.
But this is going to be kind of the kickoff. This is a May film. This is going to be end of school year, kicking off that summer movie season.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at this point it is a foregone conclusion that this is going to be a hit.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, and Lucasfilm needs one, and I think that's why they decided. Of course, this has been discussed ad nauseum. Go to what works. I mean, in Grogu, and I mean especially Grogu, but also Mando. I mean, probably two of the most popular characters that have been devised out of Lucasfilm in the last 20 years, 30 years, right?
Since 2019, Star Wars has been Baby Yoda, right? And just, and I know that I read the comments and I'm like, okay, cool. People, some people who want to seem like they're elevated are like, oh, Grogu eating things again, like this shtick. I'm like, I'm not tired of it. I think it's great. I think it's a bit. I think it's the same banter. Grogu eating food and trying to steal food is to me Chewbacca seeming frustrated about something, or C-3PO being annoyed at people, or being confused of why he can't understand people. Those are just like character shticks for me. That's very Star Wars. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and it's very charming, and it's bringing back that flavor of the American Western. Speaking of which, I don't know about you, but the first thing that I saw whenever this thing was hitting the internet was the poster, which is also very unique.
This was what I saw first.
Yeah.
So I come on, I think it hit about 9 a.m. Monday morning, Eastern time. And the thing that I really love about this, and I've got a book over here that's all classic spaghetti Western posters. And, for a lot of the reasons that, spaghetti Westerns, people don't realize how much graphic design they've consumed over the last 20 years, since I would say really the advent of the iPhone. I think the iPhone made people become hyper aware of good design because all of a sudden they had to interact with it. And when people look at the concept of design, it's very easy for us to forget that nearly everything we come in contact with as consumers has been designed. It has been like in a track to be put in front of us. And that goes all the way back to typesetting, to old school graphic design, the way that they used to have to hand paint illustrations. They used to have to do all these things. And some of it was just literally setting Ruby Lith, or it was setting letter set, which is basically just like individual letters that you're putting on there. You heat them up, you stick them on there, and that's how they made the proofs before they went through and made a bunch of reproductions.
Anybody who's built Boba Fett knows exactly what a letter set is.
100%. That is half of your markings, all those weird markings that you think are just weird Mandalorian markings. That is V's and E's and D's flipped upside down. But letter set is one of the it's a typesetting thing. And for a lot of people who are interested in graphic design, check it out. It's very cool. But that's why a lot of old posters would have like these really beautiful illustrations and then just some seemingly big block letters on the bottom, right? And so I think in the fan community, we had seen a couple versions of Cad Bane, Boba Fett, Din Djarin. They were kind of doing the good, the bad, and the ugly style posters, almost riffs, by putting Star Wars characters in there. And I specifically remember Jon Favreau talking about when people would ask, what are the inspirations for spaghetti westerns and George Lucas and all this stuff, and he'd say, yeah, someone shared with me, a Fistful of Dollars poster, but they had swapped for Boba Fett and Cad Bane, right? And so, like, I think this seems like this was a Filoni Favreau push out there to have the design firm Bond. We Are Bond. If you've checked their work, they're the ones who have been working with Lucasfilm pretty much since Mando season 1. They're an incredible creative agency right there in LA, and they were responsible for doing this. And so I think for some people, you're looking at it and saying, I don't really understand it. But if you go up, and I posted this in my stories, if you look at spaghetti Western posters, this is spot on. Like, this, the only thing that I think is different is that it shouldn't have cursive on there, because they didn't have cursive unless it was hand painted back then when they were setting the type. But in terms of the, we're seeing almost a soloized version of Star Wars on this angle. This is the first time we've seen a flowing angle of the actual logo. And so, of course, up there in the top right, you've got Pedro Pascal as Din Djarin and Grogu as himself, which I think is a great little Easter egg there. But then, of course, on the poster, we have the AT-AT, which for people that are sitting there going, what's up with these AT-ATs? These are actually the AT-ATs from Rebels. We'll get into that.
We will.
The ones that have the different turrets on the side, not the classic Hoth Empire era AT-ATs. These are pre-AT-ATs. And then we've got Mando with the Amban rifle. And this, what is that? What is that snake looking thing? That thing is cool.
I don't know. Yeah, that's actually, I was putting together the graphics for this episode, and I don't think I had noticed that before. Yeah, very, very interesting.
It's sweet. It looks very cool. And then, of course, you've got which we had seen. Now for people who are wondering how much Mando Grogu is out there, there's actually a version that was shown for for D23, a couple of clips from a sizzle reel, and then at Celebration they did a much longer version. It was almost more of a scene with some really beautiful clips at the end that was kind of just basically saying Mando Grogu is coming, and it was Mando inside basically walking through one of these AT-ATs, just wrecking things. It was awesome. Lateef Crowder just destroying snowtroopers. It was fantastic. I hope maybe they might be saving that for the full trailer, possibly.
Yeah, possibly. But it's a great scene. Lots of really great movements.
Yeah,
it really draws you in, and it's it's showing you those familiar things with the snowtroopers, even though they do have a little bit like some new things about them, which is interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
And then also in that D23 Expo clip, we saw Din and Grogu riding on that AT-RT.
Yes,
that clone trooper style walker that you ride like a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's like a biped just under the AT-ST, but it's almost like more of a. I would say, of all the things I would like to have fun on, I think this thing would be something I'd want to take out for a whip. That's for sure. And then what's interesting enough, you've got Colonel Ward on here. So Sigourney Weaver is getting the prime time. You've got baby Yoda on here. You've got Grogu and the Anzellans, and you have Zeb. So of all the Rebels characters, which we know that Filoni is leaning very heavily into in terms of reference, Zeb really is getting the love here. So we'll talk about this a little bit later, but of course we saw Zeb live action in Mando season 3 at Adelphi base. And then down here at the bottom left, which caught me off guard. I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
Exactly.
Maybe a story point here, which again, there's a lot of difference between what was in what was in the trailer and was not in the trailer, but is now on the poster. I was like, interesting, because the Hutts from what seems like Book of Boba Fett are here, and you can tell because they have that little tattoo right below their mouth. So this tells me that the twins are a part of what's going on here, and we have a couple more ways to confirm that later.
Yeah, it really does seem like the Hutts are going to be very integral to the story, just based on the little bit of information that we've been able to get here. A couple more things. We have that We have that Razor Crest, which is obviously a Razor Crest, probably not the Razor Crest.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I mean, this is the first thing I looked at. A pair of X-Wings, which makes me happy. So
yeah, absolutely. So it'll kind of depend to see if, are we getting the blue suits? Are we getting the new school suits? What are we getting here?
Yeah. Well, I saw at least one blue suit in this trailer. Let's get into these shots. We have screenshots of every shot in the trailer in order here. For those of you listening on the podcast, we'll do our best to describe it to you, but go over to our YouTube to get the full experience. So speaking of a Razor Crest, that's where it starts.
A Delphi base.
A Delphi base there. I mean, obviously with those very distinctive white Quonset hut type hangars that are on this, sort of white cliffs overlooking this very tropical beach area. Yeah. And we see the Razor Crest arcing over to probably go land. And
so a Delphi base, if you're kind of, after, of course, Andor happened and everyone's like, remind me what this is. A Delphi base was where Carson Teva was going, was basically hanging out with the other pilots. This was kind of like the pilot bar, the pilot base. This is where he meets Zeb for the first time. And this is also where he gets the call to go to the New Republic to say, I got a call from Grief Karga. We're being attacked by pirates. So the bar is super cool. This is where you had, the Easter egg of Filoni sitting there at one point with his cowboy hat on. And you had all the, the different stormtrooper helmets, kind of like they were trophies. And like they're playing pool or whatever Star Wars pool is. But we had a lot of different pilots in there. So this is from Mando season 3.
And all of the directors from that season were represented as pilots in the bar, which
you had cool. Let's see, Sash Ketter. Sash Ketter was there, and then I think also Rick Famuyiwa was there.
Yeah, Rick Famuyiwa. His last name was Dodger. Kip Dodger.
It's Jib Dodger.
Jib Dodger. There it was. He's a famous, huge Dodger baseball fan. So they gave that to him. All right, next shot we have Din and Grogu looking over a sand dune. Grogu's got a little eyepiece there.
Yeah. It feels. I mean, Jason, what do you think? Like it feels like Grogu is much more present as an accessory, as a sidekick at this point. Like we see, we'll get into it, but like we've definitely seen multiple times that like, Grogu is making noises, he's communicating. It's less coos and more like cues now. And I certainly think, when I'm looking at Grogu, it's like, when we would see traditional Grogu in Mando season 1, 2, 3, it's almost like he would be like looking at this eye scope, you know what I mean? He'd be looking at this little periscope here. Yeah. But now he's straight up like he's looking through it. You know what I mean?
It's like he's Ariel looking at the fork. She doesn't know what it's for. So now he knows that. And also later in this trailer, we'll see that Grogu is operating on his own, away from Dad. Yeah. And being independent.
Yeah. So do you think this is a Delphi? It looks like it.
I mean, it does look like it. I mean, we have to be cognizant of the fact that, there are always some sort of time travel tricks that happen when editing marketing like this, where things aren't exactly in order. But I mean, it seems like they're coming in and maybe spying on the New Republic here. So we get a classic Star Wars binoc view here. With some TKs doing some stuff here.
And before I forget too, I think, oh man, S13 Danny always shows up with a little super chat.
Oh yeah, thanks.
And thanks, dude. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. Hope everyone's well. We're reading some of these comments and trying to keep up. This is Jason. This is usually your job. You're double dutying today. This is great.
Hanging on by a thread here, folks.
That's great, dude.
Listener, we're doing our best. So hopefully
that's great. That's great. Okay, so we've got OTTKs. We've got the now this little ship here, this hovercraft. It's got a repulsor lift in it, but like, what is this? I've never seen this before. Or it's some kind of deep cut that's from an episode of Rebels that Filoni's just waiting for us to discover.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this one doesn't ring a bell, but it looks like some sort of it's going to be like a transport that's moving around larger.
It almost has like the Imperial version of a land speeder. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it almost looks like it's got 2 seats in it or something, but then a very classic We've got the classic brutalist architecture, very, looks like a Imperial base, similar to what we had seen when we found the base on from season 2, and we found the base on Navarro had a lot of this similar architecture. So
yeah, exactly.
This definitely seems like a stronghold.
Next, we have obviously this is only a still, so we have the Anzellan in the center of the screen here, wading through some the sewers, some sort of subterranean thing. He is then followed by Grogu in this shot. You can see him sort of waddling along, and from what I can tell, it looks like both of these guys are practical. They look like puppets.
Mike Manzel's got to be having a hell of a time making both of these things work, because they look amazing.
They look so good. Yeah.
It's awesome. Like, even when Grogu just like walked through there, I was like, dude, that looks so good.
Yeah.
And then and here we are now. We've got Colonel Ward with a looks like a cup of calf, and she's looking at some diagrams here. We haven't tried to dive into these, right?
No, I'm not sure that it's anything terribly important, but she does have it could be important, but nothing that we can discern.
True.
She has a data pad there. Our first look at Sigourney Weaver in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, there we are. So based on the photo that we saw that they released from behind the scenes at Celebration, she is a pilot. She is an X-Wing pilot. Like, we saw her in full, respirator, full orange suit. She had the leg flares, she had everything. So this gives me idea that like she might be going on a mission with Din, or she was out there already, or we're gonna get something. So like, we saw her in full X-Wing pilot gear, so she is not just a she's not seemingly not just a New Republic suit.
Yeah, she's going to be getting her hands dirty too, so to speak.
Let's go.
Next shot, across the table from her, we see Din and Grogu are sitting there. And this is going to, set up probably the interaction that may be most talked about from this trailer, which gives us some of the tone that's going to be set here, where Grogu is eyeing up a little bowl of crackers, a little snack that Colonel Ward has been eating, and he's going to try to use the Force to grab it from her. In this shot here, opposite, we see some of those pilots hanging out in the back of a Delphi base. I see an orange suit. I see a blue suit. I see what probably looks like
tan coat, one of those overcoats.
Exactly. I think that this might be similar to that uniform that we see Carson Teva wearing whenever he's in that hearing at the end of Ahsoka. That sort of dress.
So the bar would be to Ward's right. That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Okay. Here's Grogu using the Force, and of course, Ward stopping it with her hand, giving him a little look. In this shot, we see her wearing one of those bomber jackets. The New Republic emblem is on her left shoulder. On her right breast, we can see it's a 4-pip red rank badge that would then indicate that she is an Army colonel. So
there you go.
And back to Grogu. Here's the Lucasfilm logo in shiny Beskar.
Ba-boom.
Here's an interesting shot.
Here's the fun little teaser. So you knew that someone was going to go through and break this Arabesh down, but I think for people, of course, the eagle eyes. Now, there's always part of it where you're like, are they putting stuff out there just because they want to give some nuggets, right? We've never heard Filoni or Favreau talk about the Galactic Star Cruiser experience, like in an official capacity. So this makes me think that this is a VFX artist who was a fan, possibly went on it, appreciated it. But Jason, why don't we go ahead and flip that around for the
sure. Well, just real quick, we'll set the stage here. What we have is a low angle shot in a
reflection,
an urban environment of some sort, and we have these neon signs.
Do you think it's Coruscant?
Here could be Coruscant. We could be looking. I mean, it could be
Daiyu. Could be
Daiyu.
Exactly.
So if we have to flip it two ways because it's a reflection,
right?
We can see on the left there the Spice Den.
Yeah, there we go.
And then circled on your screen there, the Halcyon Star Cruiser. A sign that shows the cruiser itself, Lady H in profile. Above it, it says Halcyon. And below, we can see it says See the Galaxy.
That is awesome. Yeah. That's super cool.
thanks to Nick Tierce for, I think, being the first person to point this one up.
Yeah, Nicky T, he is on it. So this is a cool little Easter egg. I think for people, again, this whole thing, this is kind of where Star Wars has always been really great about being reflective of the people who say have a podcast where we talk about a 30-second trailer for an hour. For to do this little piece in here kind of shows a tribute, I think, to probably one of the most dedicated fandoms, which was the Halcyon, the Galactic Star Cruiser experience. You had people who were very disappointed that was shut down. We went on it multiple times. It was truly an incredible experience. So the fact that they've got this Purrgil class cruiser in here, which these ships are old. These are actually High Republic era ships. So like this, it's absolutely not out of timeline, considering that the Star Cruiser, the Halcyon, was set in the sequel era. So about 20, 30 years later. But these ships are old, like Purrgil class are from the High Republic era. So 200 years before the Phantom Menace. So this is absolutely in timeline. I think it's really cool for it to have, this.
Yeah. When you went on the experience, that occurred in the time right before The Last Jedi, and at that point it was celebrating the 250th year of it, right? Yeah. So it's been around for a while. As an aside, 2 days from right now when we are recording this will be the anniversary of your second voyage and my first and only voyage.
Our final voyage.
That was it. That was a great time.
That was awesome.
In a bar, I mean, this is obviously Lateef Crowder kicking ass, doing what he's on the payroll for.
I told Brendan Wayne, I said, man, you got to trademark the Lateef kick, because like that whole like arms up, and then when he kicks, and he kind of like puts his whole body forward, he just blasts people with his leg. Yeah. So this is Lateef just absolutely rocking it here, and a very like, I like the styling. This is it's little 1950s, kind of almost has a Dexter Jettster, mid-century modern. We've seen this style of cantinas before a lot, the illuminated backlighting, and we've got all these different concoctions on the wall. So this is a cool little scene here. Kind of shows off what some of the interior architecture could be like, but then the fact that Mando is going to show up and go, I need information. Yeah. Who wants to talk? This is classic.
Nice looking bar. Lots of nice looking, got some subway tile in there, herringbone pattern.
I'd love to pull up a seat, to be frank.
I mean, before he kicks this guy through all the liquor in the bar. And then,
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
I guess that's the end of the night for everybody else.
That's right.
Here we go. Here's a shot with another little Easter egg. We have Din and Grogu, possibly in the same bar. I think I see some of that green tile in the background there. And also an Iktachi. Where have we seen those before?
That would be Jedi Master. Wait, hang on.
Whoop.
Well, sure. Go ahead. Let's get into this.
All right.
Come back to this.
Sure thing.
So this is Jedi Master. I always pronounce this wrong.
Saesee Tin.
Saesee Tin.
Yeah.
And this is unfortunately one of the Jedi that thought they were, we believe that Palpatine is a Sith Lord, and they were not prepared. Yeah. Not prepared for this. But this is an iconic Star Wars alien style right here. So it's cool to see a similar species back. But I want to go back into this. What I realize on second watch, is that a bird cage? Is that what was the name of the little pink from Skeleton Crew that was actually an homage to
Captain EO, the fuzzball.
Captain EO, fuzzball, right? Mm-hmm. That almost looks like it could be fuzzball in there.
Wow, that would be pretty great. All right,
wouldn't that be awesome? So, you know what I mean? Because I can't tell. I'll have to go back and rewatch it full size, but it looks like there's something in there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there really does. It looks like there's one in. I think we see at least 3 of them.
Yeah,
and the one that's in front of the Iktachi's head there, it looks kind of large and fuzzy. So yeah. Could be.
That could be fun. I like it.
All right. Okay. Here's another one.
Okay.
The Amani.
Amanaman.
Yeah.
Amanaman. How do we pronounce it?
Well, I was under the assumption that the character, now this is a classic character from,
Return of the Jedi.
from Return of the Jedi,
Yeah.
from the hut.
Jabba's palace.
Yeah, Jabba's palace. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can't speak right now. That character's name, this lizard creature, is a man, and his species is a Mani or Amani.
Amani, yeah. Yeah. And they're like, it's one of those Rick Baker, just like, you know what I mean? Like, this thing was probably held up by sticks, frankly.
Yeah.
It has these huge long arms that just, they don't make, I mean, it's one of the, what's
We'll
funny
look at the
about
OG
it
here.
is,
There it is.
yeah, here we go. So like the criticism I remember very specifically of like when Johnny Carson would bring scientists on and go, "Have you seen Star Wars yet?" "Oh yeah." "Well, what's your problem with Star Wars?" And he goes, I can't remember which scientists they bring on, but they basically were always kind of saying that like all of the aliens in Star Wars, for the most part, are very humanoid. They're very upright. They have shoulders and a head and all these things, right? So this is one of those characters, those like kind of Rick Baker creations, where you can tell like it's a background character. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is like Dr. Mandible. You know what I mean? Like where you're sitting there being like, we got this thing propped up. This is the original IG-88, where it's like this thing can stand there and move back and forth, but it cannot do anything else, right? And so the fact that this thing was so yellow and so gross, and this is a classic Favreau Filoni move right here, to actually take these characters that people have always scratched their heads at. Oftentimes we didn't even know their names until a toy came out that explained who they were. And so that is when Favreau talks about him and Filoni basically being able to play with their action figures. This has Favreau Filoni written all over it.
And I mean, look at how
scary.
Oh boy, he's really scary now. He's got the chrome teeth, almost like an alien, like from Aliens, you know?
Yeah. Or Jaws from GoldenEye, or Jaws from James Bond.
Yes, exactly. I mean, very menacing. It looks like it has like an axe or something.
Yeah.
Also wading through a sewer. I think that we are to assume that he might be after the little baby Yoda and the Ellen buddy. So
we can assume.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. What's next here? So we got Grogu back in the saddle on the Razor Crest.
Yeah. So what do you think? What is that? Is that above the handle?
Yeah.
You have that 4-pack of red buttons, the blue button, and then up there it almost looks like, what is that? Looks like a flashlight. Looks like something. What is that? Is that in the original cockpit?
Well, it's funny. That caught my eye as well, because that to me looks like there's a similar sort of cylindrical object like that on the top of the cockpit, or the top of the instrument cluster in the cockpit of an X-Wing. And that's made out of a Graflex flash tube, the same thing that the
lightsabers.
The Skywalker lightsabers made of. This looks a little different, but it seems like it's kind of in the same vein. I did look back, and it does exist in the original one from season 1 and 2.
So all the cockpits, for the most part, on the Razor Crest style shuttles or transports are pretty universal.
It must be. I mean, we can even see that famous little silver ball on the top of the thing in the foreground there. So
there you go.
There they are in the cockpit. Everybody's back.
Man, Din looks
ready to go.
Chromy, man. This is bright. I mean, this is again one of those things where you go, what are the joys of the volume? The fact that like we do not see a camera. The fact that we see all of the, we see the canopy, we see all of these things in Din's armor, and this is a beautiful shot. The lighting is beautiful. The sun is right behind him. You can see it's almost like top left, a sunrise shot. But I mean, dude, that's an awesome shot. I mean, you got to appreciate that. You are seeing every reflection off of his Beskar right there.
Yeah, the coolest thing about it too is that the reflection that's in his helmet.
Yeah.
It's like you're looking, you're seeing what he's seeing, and there's no camera in it.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
There's another angle of this. I mean, you'll have to forgive me that I don't have this ready for this stream. We'll have to put it up maybe on socials after this. But there's another good shot of both of his gauntlets in this scene, and we can see in it that, if you recall, at the end of season 3, he loses his whistling birds. The whistling birds are
Right.
still gone, so that
Yep.
spot on his gauntlet is still not been replaced.
So continuity is there. And also, oh man, what was I going to bring up? I mean, he has those on there, but what we noticed is that like the whole rocket is gone. Like it wasn't even just the whistling birds are not resupplied. It's like the whole rocket is gone.
Yeah.
So that I thought that was pretty interesting how they're doing that. So
yeah, so all of you Din Djarin cosplayers, you're going to need to get some new gauntlets, I guess.
Oh,
but that's
geez.
fun, right?
Yeah,
Make new stuff.
Sure.
Good view of the exhaust cones of those giant engines that are on the Razor Crest, of course, based on the A10 Warthog.
There you go. Look at that.
And there it is, diving through the clouds.
Yeah.
It's got similar yellow markings that the old one did. I guess they all painted them the same, assuming that this is a different vehicle. It has to be a different vehicle.
100%.
Here's interesting. So after it goes through the clouds, there are 3 ships that are following it. I mean, there's a ton of motion blur. You can't tell what it is, but it sort of seems like it's probably TIE Interceptor.
That's what I was thinking originally, but also someone put out there and said, like, remember they found an N1 and that's what Din was ripping around in. So the fact that we also, like we're seeing more, B1s, we're seeing battle droids around, like there's definitely a lot of equipment, a lot of artillery and stuff that has not been decommissioned yet. So I think in some ways, a TIE Interceptor would make the most sense, but also can't rule out a Vulture droid.
Vulture droid, it would be nuts.
It would be crazy to see. And that something tells me that Filoni would love to see a modern CGI take on Vulture droids.
Yeah. I was trying to slow these down and get a better look at it. I mean, no matter how you see it, it almost still seems like that center ball section where the TIE pilot.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Kind of looks square. So I'm thinking,
ooh, Avenger.
Could it be an event? I mean, that doesn't make any sense, though.
No,
but I don't know. Yeah.
Well, who knows?
The other thing too is that the fire, which could speak to your Vulture droid theory, the fire that's coming from these is the blaster fire is red. It's not green.
Okay.
All TIEs have green fire, so possibly.
It's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. It's a Star Wars podcast. We'll talk about anything for 10 minutes. It's got a blurry ass picture.
Right. We are hyper fixated people.
Talk that shit out, man.
That's right.
Okay. These next 2 shots I thought were very interesting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like these are flexes for the VFX and special effects too.
100%.
This first shot, it looks to me like this is VFX. This is a VFX shot.
Yeah.
And it's gorgeous. The water is it looks absolutely real. Yeah. The way that it is on Grogu's skin, he's sort of bobbing in and out of the water. You can tell he's kind of struggling to stay, keep his head above water here. And it's beautiful. Followed by another shot, which we saw in that D23 footage as well, of what is obviously a practical puppet Grogu swimming underwater.
Yeah, this is cool.
I mean, chef's kiss. This is wonderful. These are bookends to everything that you would see from ILM with the VFX and then into the practical special effects. Yeah, super cool, awesome stuff. Here's Zeb.
Zeb Aurelius. I love this. So we've got Zeb with his signature staff, which is it's like it looks very similar to what the Magma droids use because they both have the purple Electra staff ends. But Zeb's can actually break down into a blaster for those that can remember. So, Zeb is one of those characters that Filoni's going to have a lot of heart translating over. It's really cool to see him in full action like this. I'm trying to figure out this outfit that he's got on. But certainly it is, I was not expecting to see Zeb like this. I knew, of course, it had to be coming, but he looks amazing. Yeah, the outfit that's an interesting call. Anytime that we've seen him thus far in live action, he's been in that blue Resistance style pilot outfit, and this is something different. So and previously before that, it's always his classic flight suit, rebels outfit. So unless you think that this is going to be a kid's film that's going to be all about happy good feelings, he is really bashing the shit out of some PKs in this scene. I mean, absolutely. This is for real. So here's the band.
The band's back together. We
Yeah.
have 4 Anzellans and Grogu on a little speeder going across the desert.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing that everybody can agree on for episode 9, it's the Anzellans are
100%.
awesome.
And then here we go. We've got Din flying into a U-wing, which is the classic rebel. The U-wing that we saw in Rogue One had a lot more muted colors on it. It was definitely more gray. But this is what's funny about this one in particular is the Micro Galaxy Squadron, which is from Jazzwares. They have all these like little, almost like Micro Machine sized ships, and when they made the U-wing, it did not look all weathered and beat up like we see in Rogue One, which actually just to me it's got the markings on it, but it has more of like a gray tone, right? And they released this one that had all this blue on it, and I was like, is that what it looked like in Rogue One? No way. But as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, that's the toy.
Yeah, and I think we can see the New Republic symbol there on the front of the bow of the ship there, and the blue and white. I feel like is a motif that we're seeing with the New Republic. So
for sure. So you got the Rising Phoenix making his way, and he looks like he's holding Grogu. So I'm assuming this is a what would you? This almost looks like I need to get out of here wherever he is. I'm like, I got to get out of here.
This is an evac. This is a getaway. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Maybe Zeb's flying this for him. Who knows?
That's true.
Okay, and now we're in a looks like a prize fight, a fight club. Yeah, where we have a very raucous audience that's watching a Hutt fight. I spent some time looking on this one to see if we saw anybody that we knew here.
Looks like background extras.
Yeah. And here's the buff Hutt. This is Rada.
There he is. Yeah, Rada the Hutt. So the son of Jabba had a moment where Ahsoka had to go retrieve him, and the Hutts actually have a lot of explanation, a lot of expose in the Clone Wars. So if you're interested in watching, a Hutt history on YouTube, just to kind of catch up on like what the heck is this, Filoni is a fan. They were a fan. I think the Clone Wars did a good idea of kind of explaining how the Hutts came to be, the different dynamics. They're a full-on family that has their own interpersonal politics. And so I think in a combination of the poster with Rada the Hutt, knowing that Rada was kind of the heir to the Jabba dynasty, I can see how it very similar turns into aunt and uncle are looking to say, well, how come, where's the fortune? Where, Jabba said that he left this for us, blah, blah, blah. And so if Rada's off, this is very Tron legacy in some ways, right?
Yeah.
You have my dad's company, someone else is running my dad's company, and I show up just to remind people that I'm here. It seems like Rada's having a lot of fun beating the snot out of people in underground fight clubs. And it seems like maybe aunt and uncle or whoever these other Hutts are kind of coming to say, if you're not going to take it, we will.
Yeah, there's some Black Panther in that too.
100%.
Yeah, and I think that we're going to have some more Hutt reference later in this one as well. So Din and Grogu are at the same fight. Here's an interesting one: Grogu eating some purple and red looking popcorn.
Mantel mix.
It could be. Another interesting thing, and our good friend Justin Sonfield was the one who had originally sort of alerted me to this. It looks like the stuff that they call outpost mix from Saka's Kettle in Galaxy's Edge.
Yep.
So this could very well be the very first direct reference to Galaxy's Edge on.
And whatever the voiceover was in here too, I don't know if this is actually from the film, but Din goes, impressive. And I was like, all right, that's pretty Star Wars. I like it. I knew what they were doing. So you can kind of get a little bit of a glance at his bracer right there too.
Yeah, that's true. And talking about if this is Mantel mix, there's something else coming up that would really drive home the fact that they could very much be on Ord Mantell.
Yeah.
Here's a shot.
This was a cool shot.
Really beautiful. And what we have here are 2 mechanized large battle droid. They almost look like large IG units. They have that elongated head, but the way that they moved really made me think that this has
This is Tippett.
this has got Tippett
all
Studios. Yeah, it
over it.
really does. It really does.
They move kind of slow, and then you'll
Mhm.
notice too. You see multiple shots of Din firing at them, and it looks like he's kind of doing his role, and they seem almost like they're kind of these, to your point, Jason, like almost like the tomb guardians, because back there on that tomb, or what would be maybe an entrance to the sewers, or say a lair, or say a vault. Is none other than the Hutt symbol right there, which is Jabba's tattoo on his arm. So that is certainly Jabba's little hideaway right there.
That's it, yeah. And just to go back to Tippett, we did see our friend Kate Sabaker did. She didn't post exactly what she did, but she did say, "Boy, there's some really good looking stuff in here." So,
this would be cool.
Yeah, can't wait to have her back to talk about that. Especially if these things look so amazing.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Kate, if you're listening, and if these were yours, they're so cool.
Yeah, you crushed it. What else is new?
Another good look at it. This is Din bringing back that Abman pulse rifle. First time we've seen that since season 2 of Mandalorian. I think that might have been in the Razor Crest when it got.
Yeah, it makes sense. When it got blown up. Yeah.
So he's got another one now.
Yeah.
And here is what could possibly drive home the Ord Mantell connection. This is a Mantellian Savrip.
Yes. So for the reason the nerds are losing their mind is because this Savrip here is actually one of the characters that is the playable pieces in the Dejarik board that Chewie and 3PO play. And this is actually the one that does the body slam and flips the other character over when 3PO makes the correct play, and then Chewie gets really mad at it. So we are like, let's see, I think Regal Robot has made recreation pieces of all of these pieces. And I know that to bring it back for the sequel trilogy, Frank Ippolito over at Thingergy and Phil Tippett and a couple of these people were actually in charge of bringing these pieces back to life to make new versions of workable props for the film. So these things have gotten so much love over the last couple of years, and leave it to Filoni to say, unlike, say, the Kintan Striders, which were the bike gang in Book of Boba Fett, the Kintan Strider was the other character on the Dejarik board that had the hammer. And so that group of Nikto biker gang were called the Kintan Striders. So it's basically like calling yourself the rhinoceroses or whatever you be. You know what I mean? So this is kind of a funny little thing here, but it does seem certainly that all of the warriors of the Dejarik chessboard are here in this Thunderdome.
It's hard to tell if this one was stop motion or VFX. I believe this was VFX.
I think it is.
Yeah, they modernized it to a point, but it also still kind of has a little bit of a derpy look to it.
Plasticky, totally.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Those googly eyes.
Yeah.
Here's Din somehow gets himself wrapped up into this kumite that's happening here, and he's on the back of this Savrip choking him out. So
that's great.
Call back to another one of the shots that we saw in the D23 footage. This is after he's set his grav charges inside of the AT-AT, and he's making his escape with his Rising Phoenix out the top.
Boosts out of the top. Yep.
And then this AT-AT goes kablooey. Here's a good look at these unique AT-ATs that look different than what you may be used to seeing in the Battle of Hoth.
Yeah, but these are this is where Rex and the other crew on whatever, I can't remember what planet. What planet was that? Where they're out there in the desert, and they come across those. So these are Rebels era AT-ATs. And so I think for people too who are sitting here being like, oh, what's up with that? The M1 Bradley, a tank that's still, the Bradley system is still being used today, right? The Bradley tank was developed in the late 60s. We are still using 30, 40-year-old equipment all the time. So it is absolutely not out of the question to say that by the time the Empire came in, some 10 years later, that they have gone through all of these very expensive things and replaced them all. This absolutely makes sense. Resources are limited. Now all of a sudden you're a remnant. You're sitting here going, hey, the fact that we got these old walkers is better than having no walkers. So this this does track for me. But of course, knowing it's Filoni, if you're wondering why it looks different, chances are it was probably in Rebels.
Yeah, and they look great. These shots look like they have been refined since the first little batch of shots that we saw at D23, and they look amazing. The way that this falls off of the ledge here in that line of 3, so cool. So cool. There's our logo.
Go.
The Mandalorian and Grogu, forged for IMAX, which is interesting, which makes me think that do we think that this entire film was shot with IMAX cameras, or is it going to go in and out of it?
I could probably get an answer, but I'm going to say I think certain parts of it, with it being so digital, makes me think that there was, the fact that you're not shooting. I mean, the whole thing was shot in Southern California, which is cool. But certainly I think, the difference of saying forged for IMAX when a lot of it was filmed on the volume or on green screen tells me, maybe it's possible that the principal photography was done for IMAX. But we'll see.
That's going to be great. Here's our little button to the end of it, our coda. Mike, does this there we're back in the sewers with Grogu and the Anzellan. We have sort of a one-eyed large mouse rodent looking creature. Does this one ring a bell for you?
I couldn't place exactly which one it was, but there's so many little creatures like this in the Fallen Order video game series. And I'm sure at some point, if I go through my bestiary archive, I'm sure this thing is probably in there, or it's something that, Filoni in the, it's in a card game from the 1980s or something like that. You know what I mean? A little, mouse rat or something like that. But this, it ended perfectly. I think we're all pretty tuned to the point of like a humorous coda is very Disney trailer property at this point. So the whole Anzellan with the nice shot, baby, like perfect.
Yeah. And we can see that Grogu shoots a little bit of goo into the creature's eyes, and those are 2 specific call outs to Mandalorian season 3. First, you can see that he's wearing his Mudhorn adorned Beskar chest plate.
And he's got a pouch.
And a little pouch there to the side. And if you recall, there was a sort of a training.
It's like a paintball simulation, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. Whenever he was training against Paz Vizsla's son,
Ragnar.
They had the little gauntlet that shot little goo. So that got him right in the eye there. Nice shot, baby.
Nice shot, baby. That was funny. So, I mean, May 2026. So, I mean, all in all, I think, as we're wrapping up here, I think I think we've got I'm betting on Super Bowl is going to be the trailer, right? That's going to be be the last trailer. I think this was just a thing to remind people that Mandalorian and Grogu is coming. I think for some people who aren't as into it, I think they might have not known what is happening for Star Wars. I think for a lot of people, again, Disney is at this point where they have to kind of remind people that Star Wars is not just Andor, especially when it gets as many accolades as it does. So I think to your point, Jason, reminding people that Star Wars is fun, it's a great thing. I'm super excited for this.
And what's also kind of wild is that, to your point of them sort of reintroducing Star Wars to people that are the fun side of Star Wars. There's a lot of folks that are not into this in the same way or as deeply as we are, that are going to see a bunch of wild creatures, and it's like, oh, this is for everybody. This is going to be a trailer for everybody. So notable. There's a lot of stuff, tons of Easter eggs, even just for a minute and a half little teaser. Notable things missing as well, though. Characters, no Bo-Katan Kryze, no Axe or Koska or the rest of Death Watch.
The armor
is not there. Cobb Vanth.
No Carson Teva.
No Carson Teva, which is interesting.
No Boba Fett.
Peli Motto. I mean, it's quite possible that we actually do spend some time in Tatooine because of that Hutt vault. I mean, Hutt
Right.
space, it encompassed more than one planet, but
Right.
I mean, they were based on Tatooine, so
Right.
I don't
Right.
know.
So yeah, and I think if because I mean the other thing is like we that we're saying Dayu was at Coruscant, which would make sense because the New Republic, but also like, are we at Nar Shaddaa, or are we, are we getting into this point? And so I think we're gonna ask a lot of questions, but I think that next trailer that's gonna have more of the story beats, I think is going to inform a little bit more of what's happening, because I think again Disney is going, okay, we're all in on Starfighter. Well, Starfighter is set 30 years from now, maybe even beyond, right?
Yeah.
So the big thing that they've got to switch over to is going, hey, okay, so we've got this movie. Isn't Star Wars fun? Awesome. Well, guess what? Ahsoka season 2 is coming. And if we want to look at the model of what was successful at one time, was introducing the Avengers level event, right? And so I think we have to, at some point, for me, it's always a little bit of a cop out at the end where it says, the Mandalorian will return. Okay. But personally, I think we have to see a reminder in some regard that the remnant, if this is the end of the remnant, this might be the end of the Empire, but this is only the beginning of Thrawn and the Night Sisters, or something that gets us to that point. Because I think Star Wars wants to remind people the adventure continues, man. It's like,
and it's going to continue after that as well, because even though Thrawn is our Thanos, for lack of a better term there.
Yeah, I mean, totally.
That's essentially what it's going to be. After that, we still need to see this link to the Shadow Council and the road that leads us to the First Order. So there's tons of stuff to mine here still. So it's very exciting. Yeah,
it's exciting. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for putting up with Jason and I. We know that Nick is going to be back hopefully next week. I think he's coming back from the East Coast this weekend. And Adam should be back too. So it'll be regular scheduled programming. We've got some really great guests coming up. We have a couple people who are launching some books. We have some people who are some sound. We have sound people. We have some behind the scenes people. We have a couple really good shows that we're excited about. I mean, I wrapped up the Lego Rebuild the Galaxy. Super fun.
Oh, awesome.
It's full of Easter eggs. It's great. So, we'll see where we're going to go from here, but, thank you everyone for hanging out with us over the last couple of weeks, as our friends are also balancing work life, which their work happens to be being rock stars. So anyways,
tough lot in life. Here, I'll do the spiel, Mike. Merch available at thankthemakermerch.com. This one that I'm wearing that was made for Japan. Thanks, Mike, for the design. Still available on there if you like what you hear. Tell your friends. Find us on all the social channels at Thank the Maker Pod. Links are always in the notes. If you're so inclined, we would love to see you on our Discord. It was going off tonight. Physics Buddy Joe made a ton of GIFs for the trailer. It was
we need those
really
GIFs.
Fun. Yeah, you can find us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/thankthemakerpod. And we will push our super secret Patreon segment down the road until the full crew is back.
That makes sense. So be good to one another. Be happy. Go out. Love the things that you love. And as always, may the Force be with you.
Thank the Maker is produced by Adam Russell and Jason Chiodo and edited by Jason Chiodo. If you enjoy the podcast, you can support us by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Or you can support us directly at patreon.com/thankthemakerpod, where you can get access to our Discord server, exclusive content, exclusive merch, and more. Our patrons literally make Thank the Maker possible.